Welcome to another episode of Bucher and Friends, part of the United WeCast Network. I'm Rick Bucher. You can read my stuff on Bleacher Report and at Rick Bucher on Twitter. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Bucher Friends. And time is now for you to not only enjoy the show, but drop us a rating and review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Screenshot that review and tweet it to us at Bucher Friends, and you'll be entered for a chance to win some swag from Ryan, Will, or me. If we haven't already, the first 50 to screenshot and send us their rating will be in a drawing for a Jerry Rice signed football. So get in on that. It is a Wednesday, which means that it is guest day. And my special guest today is Phoenix Suns swingman, second-year swingman, Josh Jackson. I always wanted to have a conversation with him. I've wanted to have a conversation with him since he came into the league. Like the way he plays, and there's a lot of interesting aspects to Josh well beyond playing basketball. Started a chess club when he was in school, played the saxophone, and has a mom named Apples, and was named by Apples. His middle name is the name of a very famous NBA player. Apples was an accomplished player in and of her own right. Josh and I talked about all of that and more. Enjoy. My guest today is somebody that I've wanted to talk to for basically since he came into the league, Josh Jackson, Joshua O'Neal Jackson. And I want to start there. First of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
O'Neal,
Yeah.
middle name.
Can you guess?
I'm thinking Mom. It was after Shaq.
Yeah, huge Shaq fan.
Okay, all
and
right.
Still to this day, I've met Shaq maybe twice and never told him.
Oh, is that right?
I thought it would have just been too weird, but
yeah.
It's after Shaq.
So now, as you've grown up with that, knowing that, are you cool with it? Do you like it?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I've always been a fan of Shaq. You know, growing up, watching him on the Lakers, watching him in the movie sometimes. So. Great character, funny guy, just a lot of energy. So I've always been a fan of him.
One of the reasons that I've always wanted to kind of sit down and talk with you is, one, I know your agent, BJ Armstrong, very well. We go back, but also I've just always admired your game from afar. You strike me as a guy who just plays the game and has a single-minded focus. I'm not trying to blow you smoke at the beginning of the podcast,
Oh, no, it's okay.
so you'll be good with me. But I can always read when a guy is really just about the game. How do I win the game? It's not about stats. It's not about role. It's not about how, any of that. It's like, I got to figure this thing out.
Mm-hmm.
And to that end, I feel as if there's a, just we're recording this not long after Derrick Rose put up a 50-piece.
Yeah.
Also a client of BJ Armstrong, and also in my mind, and you can tell me if I'm way off on this, kind of a kindred spirit with you in terms of the mentality of the game. Derrick Rose to me has always been about, I'm just trying to figure out how to win, go after it. And you strike me, I see you in the same mold. It doesn't surprise me that both you and he would have BJ as a client. So now you get the opportunity to tell me how off or wrong I am about that.
Nah, yeah, I think you're actually pretty right. I think Derrick Rose is an amazing player. I've been watching him for so long, and I was really happy for him when I saw what happened yesterday. Saw how emotional he got, and I just know how hard he's worked and how hard everything's been, just the ups and downs. So just to see that for him was really amazing. I talked to BJ about it. BJ was really excited. So things are really looking up for him. But like you said, I'm just trying to figure it out. I've never been a guy who's been about stats or just being that guy on the team. I've always been about winning. Like, I love to win. I hate losing so much. So I'll do whatever it takes to get that win. I'll guard the best guy for the whole 48 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll dive on the floor for the loose balls. I'll do anything to get the win.
One of the things, which is, I mean, the way the game should be played, but when you're a lottery pick and you've been taken as high as you have, and you've had the success through high school and going to Kansas and all that, sometimes it is about, like, don't you know who I am? Or I need to show who I am, right? What has been the influence of your mom? And it's Apples
Yep.
Jones.
Yes.
Another name you have to kind of help me out with. Apple's not a common name.
No.
What's the history behind that?
So it's actually really just a nickname that my grandmother gave her and my aunt, who are twins, fraternal twins. Okay. My aunt's name is Peaches, but my mom's actual name is Sharita. But everybody, the whole family has been calling her Apple since the day she was born, and same with my aunt, been calling her Peaches forever.
That's good stuff. She was I don't know if she was your coach. She started your AAU program, and she was a very good, bordering on great player in her own right. Played, I think, at Allen Community in Kansas.
Yeah, and went on to play at UTEP. You
played at UTEP, had a tryout, I think, with the Washington Mystics. Put that aside to go to Michigan, if I'm not mistaken, or go to Detroit, which I want to get to in a minute. But having your mom start the AAU program, be that involved in you, and I assume your development as a player, how much does that, you think, she or her approach inform the player that you've become?
Man, tremendously. My mom, since the day I can remember, like, my mom has been always there, like, teaching me everything, things in life, things in basketball. From the first day I was able to come home from the hospital, she had a basketball in my hand, so I was pretty much destined to play. I was going to play no matter what.
And O'Neal, middle name.
Yep, O'Neal, middle name. I'm playing basketball. So, yeah, growing up, even my first, like, little peewee team, my mom was my coach. And, she was, like, really hard on me as a kid, like, when I was playing, just because she wanted me to be so good. And, she had been to where she was and she knew what it took to get there. So she wanted to start me early, and which I really understand now. But, she's always been there teaching me, just on me, telling me the right way to play. And I never lost it. I've always played unselfish. I've always went out and gave it my all. And she always told me that's the way you play the game. Don't ever go out there and play if you're not going to play that way.
So there's two ways that this normally goes when a parent is directly involved. It's either I'm going to make my kid the star, right? Or I'm going to make my kid be the ultimate fundamentally sound team. I'm going to make him a great teammate.
Yeah.
And looking bigger picture of, and maybe this is some of she knows at higher levels, that, you just can't be the star. The leading scorer isn't always necessarily the player that moves on. So how did she, was there ever a time where you felt as a kid, like, damn, Mom, like, you're being way harder than me than anybody else?
Plenty of times. Even when, she eventually stopped coaching me, and I ended up playing for another team as I got older. But even then, she would still be at the games, like, in the crowd, and these are like middle school games, so not many people at the games, so you could hear everybody in the crowd, and my mom was just like the loudest one, like, it's telling me, bend down on your free throws, get lower, like, tips here and there all the time, and you can just hear. And sometimes I would stop in the middle of the game and I'd be like, Mom, and it just echoed through the gym, and she would get it, she would calm down a little bit, but it's just her passion for the game, man, and her wanting to see me do so well. And I understand it, and I appreciate everything that she's done for me. Even now, she's still watching my game. She's in the crowd. Sometimes I hear her. It's not as easy as it was then, but even after the games, she's still giving me tips, what she thought I could have done better. And, 9 times out of 10, she's right.
Did you ever have one of those conversations, like a memorable conversation? I don't know where it was in the course of your career. And I think I'm informed this because I coached both my kids. My daughter and my son both play. And we've had conversations in the car, after good or bad performances, where I will always remember them, and I think they will always remember them. Is there one that stands out to you that you had with your mom at some point, something that you talked about that still resonates with you?
Does it have to be basketball related?
No.
Okay. Yeah, we've had a lot of talks.
Because you've been through a few things.
Yeah, I have. Me and my mom have like such a good relationship. Me and her, we talk about everything. We've been through a lot. She lost her husband, my dad, a couple years ago. So after that happened, me and her got even closer because, me and my dad were really, really close. We were like the guys, and my mom was the only woman in the house. So we got really close after that. And just being able to have her around as much as I do, you know, I appreciate it so much because she gives me just like this home feeling. You know, every time I see my mom, I just know, you know, I'm safe, I'm good. She's got my back through anything. So being able to have her around is really big for me. The talks I have with her all the time, not always basketball related, but, you know, even when I'm going through things mentally, I get down on myself sometimes, you know, and she's always there, you know, every time I look up, just always there.
How much, I was curious, you born in San Diego.
Yep.
As we mentioned, went to high school in Detroit for a while, then went to Napa. I live in the Bay Area, lived there for some 20-some years, Half Moon Bay. But you've moved around, and I wondered, like, what feels, maybe you just answered it. What is home for you? You know, you're in Phoenix now. You went to school in Kansas. Like, you've moved around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the place that when you think of home, where is it?
I think everywhere I've really been is home. I got people in Kansas who I consider family that I've met for, you know, a shorter period of time, but I can just tell these people have my best interests. You know, they want to see me do good, and they still support me today. Even in Napa, I got friends from the high school that I went to, their parents. You know, I used to go over and spend the night at some of my friends' houses out there, and I would meet their parents, and I go to the Bay Area, play Golden State, and I see the whole family at the game. You know, they're cheering me on, and they've got these signs and stuff. So I think pretty much everywhere I've been, Kansas, Napa, Detroit, all of those are home to me. Even Phoenix now, you know, being here, I got adjusted pretty well last year, pretty quickly. Still some things I'm trying to figure out on the basketball side, but I love it here in Phoenix. You know, I got my family out here, my mom, my aunt. So yeah, I got a couple homes.
You played in summer league for a second straight year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you were good in summer league the first time around.
Yeah,
and you got solid minutes last year. A lot of guys don't go back for a second year. And first of all, I didn't even recognize you at first because you changed the cut, right? And I was there like first game. I was like, wait a minute, that's Josh Jackson.
I had a few family members who I was like, I had cut my hair, and then I didn't tell anybody, so I just like showed up one day and straight didn't talk to me for like 10 minutes, and like would try to introduce themselves, and I'm like, yo, am I really that different looking right now?
No, wait a minute. So who introduced themselves to you?
I got a cousin. He tried to introduce himself to me. We were
because he didn't know who you were.
He had no idea.
He just saw like the Suns uniform or whatever. Wow.
I'm like,
yeah,
I look that different.
That's wild. So for those who may not know, and I hope I have this right, you hadn't cut your hair. Is that true? You hadn't cut your hair for like 4 years.
4 years.
By the way, I love that look. I just thought it was a good look. I was surprised when you changed it. What inspired you to go standard?
I had been thinking about it for a while, and the heat in Phoenix really helped that out.
I can see that.
Just coming outside every day to like 115, and I got all this hair up here.
Yeah.
It was just getting too hot. And I thought it was just time for a change. You know, I wanted a little change. Yeah,
because you did it. I think Elford did it, and his was very distinctive, right? Yep. And I always thought for him it was a little bit different because yours was up and out.
Yeah.
But his, like I always would have been like glancing up because that had to be in his vision, right?
Yeah,
at the
it
top.
had to be like a little hat.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been distracting for me. So when your mom gave up the Mystics deal, you were probably too young at that time to understand what she was doing.
The reason she gave up the Mystics deal is because she got pregnant with me. That's why. And she wanted to go home and raise me and have me around my family. She wanted me to know all my family in Detroit. So she went back home.
So you said that she lost her husband.
Mm-hmm.
You had Clarence
Jones.
That's your father.
Yeah, my stepfather's.
Okay, your stepfather. Okay.
Basically,
all right.
My father. Yeah.
So he was I got you. Okay, so he basically raised you.
Oh, yeah.
Not blood father, but stepfather.
Yeah.
Got it. And you lost him when you were in Vegas for a tournament?
I was correct? In Vegas. I had just finished up for the Tarkanian Classic high school tournament. And this was like maybe 3 days before Christmas.
Oh.
It happened, yeah. I was getting ready to come home, and I got the phone call and didn't get to see him.
What's that like going back to Vegas, having been there when that transpired? I would think that would always affect me when I would go back to that spot. I
don't really think about it too much when I go to Vegas, but I think about him every day.
Yeah.
Vegas isn't a problem being out there, but every day I think about him, things that he used to tell me and teach me. Look at his face every day just so I don't forget it.
What do you miss the most?
What do I miss the most? I think I miss the guidance, just having, that man figure there. Sure. And after he passed, it was kind of hard for me because I didn't have too many men in my life before. And older I got, I started to get more and more mentors, people, reaching out, trying to help me out and, talk to me and guide me a little bit. And, I still got a few guys who I consider mentors who still talk to me and give me that male figure that I need.
Sure. Play the sax, big into chess, right?
Yep.
And played the sax in 7th grade. This always.
I was forced to play the sax in 7th grade, but I ended up being pretty good at it.
And so do you still play? Do you still have one?
I still have one, but I don't play it that much.
Okay.
Unless Apples makes me. So probably this holiday season over Christmas break or something, she might make me.
So will you do the Christmas carols? Will you play Christmas tunes or what?
Yeah, sometimes she makes me play Christmas tunes. She'll make me play a little bit of jazz.
Okay.
Whatever she wants to hear. What's
your go-to song? What's the song that you want to flash that you can play sax a little bit? What do you go to?
Oh, holiday season is definitely going to be Jingle Bells.
Okay.
I could play that on the sax.
Okay. Do you jazz it up?
Yeah, jazz it up a little bit.
Nice.
And what's my go-to song to play? That one's tough. Probably got to come back to that one.
Do you improv any?
I can. I haven't, but
okay.
I can.
Okay. I ask all this because I went through a similar thing. I play piano.
Mm-hmm.
And I started when I was like 6, and I got to 12, and I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
I hated it. Right? It was all classical, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into I was in Cincinnati, and the Baldwin Music Company was there, and they started a program that was a jazz-oriented program, and I had to audition to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget, I was like 12, and I was older in the class, and there was a 9-year-old kid named Joel who played piano in his gospel church, and he could sit in. We had a quartet come in one time, and he sat in with them, and he just killed it. And I went, I want to be able to do that. And I don't know that I ever got to that level, but it reignited my desire to play. The other part was I also played trumpet in the marching band, and I always wanted to play sax. I always thought the sax was a much cooler instrument, and so
I actually. So I had to take band in middle school, and they let you choose the instrument that you want to play. I actually only chose the saxophone because it was shaped like a J. That was my reason for picking it.
Oh, that is funny.
I got that.
See, I would have expected, and I don't know, this works for me, is just like it is a great release for me just to sit down at the piano and kind of get lost in it.
Yeah.
So I would imagine you've had that experience with the sax. I want you to get back to it, man. Will you do that for me?
I can.
I just like the idea of Josh Jackson being that well-rounded. Who got you into chess?
My dad actually got me into chess. I think I was in the 2nd grade, and it'd been going on for a while. So I would come home from school, and he would just be sometimes just playing himself. And I had no idea what the game was, of course, but like just after a while, just coming home all the time, and I'm just seeing my dad just sit here and he's playing this game. I finally asked him, and he sat me down and he started to teach me to play. And from then on, I just fell in love with it. And he got me a small miniature chess set, and it was like it would fold up and carry like a little lunchbox.
Yeah.
And I would take it to school like every day. And I started to play at lunch. I would play myself. and just trying to practice so I could beat him.
Right.
Yeah, I never beat him. And the kids at the school, they started to catch on. They would see me playing and stuff. They sat down, and I would teach a few of them how to play. They would teach a few others. And then maybe a month later, we got like a chess club started at school.
Sweet.
Yeah. So it was cool.
Very cool. You're an only child?
I am.
Okay. I don't even know how to ask the question. Like, how do you feel about being an only child?
I thought it was great as a kid. Growing up, my elementary school was like 3 blocks away from my house. So my whole neighborhood was like filled with kids all the time. I walked to and from school with like a group of 30 kids. Parents would just let us because there was like so many of us, and the school was right there.
Yeah.
So
this is in Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every day after school, I had plenty of friends to play with, neighbors, kids all up and down the street. And I had my house was like the house to go play basketball at because I had like the best court in my backyard.
Gotcha.
So every day after school, I got maybe like 20, 25 kids in our backyard just playing, shooting hoops. We'd be playing pickup games, and my dad would come out and he'd hold up a $20 to the winner. Oh, we go crazy.
Oh,
we get
on.
Extra competitive then.
Yeah.
And we used to win those games and go straight to the store and just buying all types of candy and stuff. So
that's a good
It was fun. I never really felt like I was the only child growing up.
Yeah.
So I always had like kids, and I got a lot of cousins who would come over. I always had somebody to play with and be around.
Did mom ever play?
Mom
did she ever
would
play
come
you?
Yeah, all the time in the backyard. Oh yeah, and I was really, really competitive with her. I didn't finally beat her in a game of 1-on-1 until I was either 13 or 14, one of those.
Okay.
And after I beat her, I did a victory lap around our whole block. Like I ran the whole block, victory lap. But yeah, growing up, I couldn't beat her, and I would try so hard. I'd be elbowing her, like shoving her.
I've experienced that a little bit with my kids.
Yeah.
Same deal.
She would not take it easy on me. She'd be blocking my shot, like talking trash, like making me cry. So I think that's where like a lot of my competitive spirit came from, to be honest. Just being around her. She's such a competitor too.
Yeah. That's good stuff. I think of San Diego, Detroit, Napa, Phoenix. You couldn't think of like 4 more disparate places. I think especially Detroit and Napa. What do you think you got out of that experience growing up in places that are that diverse?
Well, like you said, it just made me, I think, more well-rounded. I got to meet a lot of people who had different perspectives on life, and they knew different things. And it taught me that life is, it's really all about relations, you know? You meet people who you can help and who can help you, and you come together and you do something for other people. So just being out there, I think it really helped me to get a better understanding of that. Just being able to fit in different environments. I think that's the best way I could put it.
You think that informs you as a player? Because I see your ability to kind of what needs to be done. Where's my place in this?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than, again, someone with your talent could kind of walk in and say, I want things shaped around me, or I expect things to be shaped around me. You don't give me that feel. You haven't given me that feel from the very beginning. It's like, I mean, look, let's be honest, you know, for where you were picked, and I look at, you know, whether it's Devin or like the structure of a team, it could be, hey, I'm a number 4 pick. Like I should be a centerpiece here. But I've never gotten the feel that you've ever fought that battle. Like I'm not being given the credit or the esteem that I deserve.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just here, just doing my job. You know, I come in, I got these teammates who I think are really, really great, really talented, just like me, and I think we all just gotta be able to come together and find out how we can all help each other. I think that's the best way for anybody to be successful. I don't think you can really have true success on your own. You gotta have a little bit of help. I don't care where it comes from. You gotta have some help. So just being able to help them and figure out how they can best help me, I think is gonna really be good for me.
All that said, this is probably the most losing you've ever done in your career.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How do you maintain the drive and going as hard as you can when you're not getting the results that you're used to getting?
Just wanting it so bad. I want them to be able to win. I want our team to go to the playoffs. I want to win a championship. So just having that want and burning desire, I think just helps me go every day. And also learning, I want to figure it out. I know I don't know everything in the world. There's a lot of things out there on the court that, I still haven't figured out, but I want to. So I'm going to keep, shooting my shot at it, and hopefully things start clicking and I'll be able to figure it out, but I'm not going to stop trying.
That's Josh Jackson, a friend of Bucher and Friends now officially. And I know you're doing a thing with Undefeated, I believe. You're doing a diary, and in large part to allow people to get to know who you are.
Yeah.
And I am looking forward to getting this out because I hope that this does the same. Pulling for you. Love what you're all about. Really appreciate you taking the time and wishing you the best luck going forward.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Josh.
Of course.
All right, that's it for Bucher and Friends. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at RICBUCHER. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Bucher Friends. Make sure you're subscribing to iTunes. We're here Monday through Friday. Will Blackman with me on Monday and Tuesday, the former NFL DB and Super Bowl winner. And Thursdays and Fridays, it's me and Ryan Hollins, former NBA center, talking all things NBA. Tomorrow, Ryan and I will get into the addition of Tyson Chandler with the Lakers. How much of a difference is that going to make, along with everything else going on in the NBA? Thanks for listening.